have a quick question. Hopefully, you get it.
I know that you learned today the Machloket Rashi and Tosfot very important. It's only because by Yibum there's no Kinyan. Tosafot strongly disagree with Rashi, and all the Rishonim disagree with Rashi. Yibum doesn't need a Kavanah al Kinyan.
Right.
Therefore, according to Rashi,
right,
with the right idea, Tosafot strongly disagree.
Yeah.
There's a reason. According to Rashi, it's possible that the Katan should be married if he was Meyavim.
Yeah. Again, I came back to that question I asked you originally, that it seems to me you have to say that there's something that, because if he has a baby, if she becomes pregnant from him, he's accomplished what he wants to do with this neshama of the brother.
If the matara of Yibum is having children, yes. Open a second, Chod Mezuzah, we started yesterday, from
Morning, Larry.
Shulchan Aruch, let's see a second, in the beginning of Chod Mezuzah, Yored De'ah Reish Pei 285. Shulchan Aruch begins in Chod Mezuzah, מצוות עשה לכתוב Perashat Shemot v'ayam Shemot. The mitzvah is to write. We say it every morning. Uchtavtam, not v'samtam al mezuzot betecha. Mitzvah taseh lichtov Perashat Shemot v'ayam Shemot. Ulekovam al mezuzat hapetach, and place them at the petach. V'tzarich lizaher ba meod. It is almost the only place it says here. Because it follows the pasuk, "Leman yirbu yemechem v'yimei b'nechem, v'yemeino zahir ba yitkatzu." It's an interesting Rama, but this is not the time to go into. What happens if you cannot afford to buy tefillin and mezuzah? What should you buy? Mikol makom. אם אין ידו משגת לקנות תפילין ומזוזה, יקנה תפילין ולא מזוזה. Can you come up why? So Luki says at the end, the mitzvah שהיא חובת הגוף עדיפה. תפילין זה mitzvah on your body. מזוזה is on your house. Both are definitely מן התורה. He says, okay, but this is a long discussion.
Thought global, that's the whole house. It's everything in the house, me and everything in the house. So, you wonder why body would take precedent, but closer, I guess. And then there's also here, Ben Yukatsuru. He means your children, and your.
No, he's talking about himself. He didn't mention the pasuk. He said, "V'chol zahir ba yarichu yamav v'yimei banav." Eino zahir ba yitkatzu. You're saying if yarichu yamav v'yimei banav, so is.
I don't know how to read it then.
Yeah, okay. Now look a second now. So this is the beginning. Let's go now to the end of Hilchot Mezuzah.
I guess first week, would you shorten your life if you don't wear tefillin? I mean,
this is the reason why people are so careful. Anything that happens, yes. Yeah. Look at Siman Reish Tzadik Aleph, 291. 291, you read there. The first halacha, it tells us, Mezuzat Yachid, the mezuzah that me and you have in our house, nivdeket pa'amay b'sheva shanim, you have to check twice in 7 years. Shel Rabim, let's say in shul or places like this, pa'amay b'yovel, every 50 years twice.
I have to mention, we went under the coattails, some new excavation, right? They showed an arch, and they showed where the mezuzah was, and it was carved out. It was not sticking out. There was like a hole in the wall.
Interesting, yeah.
And the mezuzah was straight.
Yeah, Eli is straight.
It was straight. I should have taken a picture of it. Interesting. Yeah.
Eli saw now in new places in near the Kotel, the mezuzah is in the door. Every place. My father's father, Alav Shalom, remember? This is the way they build it.
But they carved it out.
Yeah.
So that was
it's a base protection there.
And it was
so look now in Halacha Bet. Halacha Bet. השוכר בית מחברו, I'm a tenant. השוכר חייב לקבוע במזוזה, which means the obligation is
the tenant.
on the tenant, whoever dwells in the house, הוא לתקן מקום קביעותה, and to prepare a place to place מזוזה. Now, ואפילו שכר הבית בחזקת שיש לו מזוזה, לא במקח טעות. Okay, this is an interesting halacha. What happened if I rented from you and I assume you're a religious man, most likely you have a mezuzah in the door, yes? I'm a tenant. I walk in, I come with my merchandise, my furniture, no mezuzah. This is not a reason to come to the
to void the lease or to complain.
right. You cannot tell the guy, give me
It's
my
not a
money,
given.
my money back. No, why not? Because be'emet, the obligation is your obligation because you're the tenant.
Not the landlord.
Now here is ukesheyetze. If you move, lo yitlena beyado. If you move away from your house, leave the mezuzot at the door, unless you know that the Gentile is moving in. Ve'im makpid al ma'otea. Your mezuzot are expensive. You paid $100 for each. השני צריך לשלם לו. Okay,
Place them?
this he has to pay you.
Oh, it's pay. Oh.
I'm moving out. The halacha tells me not to take the mezuzot with me.
But you become.
But I paid for the mezuzot $100. I have 12 mezuzot. I have the right to ask the incoming tenant. Now remember, now the incoming tenant is obligated to place a mezuzah. How does he fulfill his obligation? By me leaving the mezuzot?
He didn't put them up.
He didn't put anything. The answer is there's no obligation to put the mezuzah. The obligation is the house that you live in should have a mezuzah. See here, this is a very clear proof. I didn't do anything.
No action necessary.
I moved in, and the previous tenant is obligated. Now, for me, this is a new mitzvah. Can I make a bracha now? We'll talk in a minute.
There's no action in this.
There's no action at all. The mezuzah is on the door. The mezuzah is on the
Does
door.
not always require an action? That's the question.
Is the first mezuzah, is the second mezuzah the same as the first mezuzah?
Eli wants to know. Every door, Eli, is a separate obligation.
So then you're telling me that if he says, let's say he's missing one, and he has a choice between tefillin and mezuzah, like the Rama says, that he should pick mezuzah. Let's say he has money for one mezuzah and one tefillin. Should he do the multiple mezuzot?
No, if the Rama said it, if it's a room that is definitely chayav, the kitchen, the living room, the main door.
So you're telling me that an inner door is the same as an outer door. It's
Why?
the same obligation.
Why would you think?
Because I think sometimes we see mezuzah in biyachid, it's written, or maybe the main obligation is to have it on the petach of your main door when you come in and out of your home.
Let's see.
I'm only guessing, but
Eli is asking. I'm just looking to show you. It says every room in the house.
I mean, if his house needs 20 mezuzot, and should he pay for all 20 mezuzot before he buys tefillin?
Look a second, Eli, to Reish Peivav, Siman Reish Peivav. Go back 2 pages. הרבה חדרים, look at סעיף תז, Reish Beis Peivav Seif Tzayin. Tzayin is right here. Tzayin. הרבה חדרים, זה לפנים מזה. You realize what he's telling you now? Like, in your house, in my house, in every modern house, every room is empty. He says, even if from your bedroom, you're going to another bedroom over there. You might look on your bedroom, is the main, says, הרבה חדרים, זה לפנים מזה, כולם חייבים במזוזה. כולם, י"ז. אם יש בבית הרבה פתחים, פתוחים לחצר או לרשות הרבים, there are many entrances, and all of them are being used to in and out, in and out.
Chatzir though, but he means in and out of the house.
All לרשות הרבים, ונעשו כולם לכניסה ויציאת בני הבית, כולם חייבים. אפילו נתמעטו הדיורים, even if you, many of the tenants left, yes, שאין רגילים אתה לבוא ולצאת, אלא באחד. It says a tremendous חידוש. Let's say I had many rooms for rent, and each room has its own entrance and exit. Now, it's a bad time, no one is renting. The rooms are chayav, yes?
Yeah, okay.
There's no occupant.
It doesn't bring any other argument. No, Eli's point was, when the Rama told us in the beginning, if you have a choice between A and B, לכאורה, yes? Look at י"ח, בית שיש לו פתחים הרבה, אף על פי שאינו רגיל לצאת ולבוא אלא באחד מהם, חייב לעשות מזוזה בכל פתח ופתח. No, he's asking a logical question. I'm coming in and out one petach. Okay, so I'm chayav by the others. Is it the same chiyuv he's asking as the main door or not? Okay.
Side door, for example.
Right. Go back now to what you went before. And the Reish Tzadik Aleph. In Seif Bet, we learned that even a tenant is chayav when he goes away. So remember again, the question we raised was, I am the new tenant who moves in, and the previous tenant did live with his mezuzot. Can I make a bracha or not? Because for me, this is a new chiyuv. We'll talk in a minute.
But what about if you have own a house? This is just about renting a house. If Rabbi Prague decides to move tomorrow.
If I own a house and I rent it to others, it's their obligation, not mine.
So you're supposed to take it down?
If you know that the goyim are moving in, yes.
Could you also go back?
There is a chance. You have many of. Remember, by you, look a second. Look further. ואם שכר הבית לעובד כוכבים, או ששכרו לעובד כוכבים, you know that the incoming tenant is a Gentile, you are a Jew. נוטלה ויוצא, when you move out, you take it away with you. So now,
Rabbi Prague?
enough a second.
I'm sorry.
Again, the obligation is on the tenant, not on the landlord. Okay? Not on the landlord. So if I have an apartment that I'm renting always, the tenants left, did you take the mezuzot with them? Am I obligated to put mezuzot? No, because no one is dwelling in the house now. Yeah, what did you want to ask?
The concept before that you said that the fact that the mezuzah was there, did he or not kiyem et mitzvah, is another example, the same idea you've taught us. Am I confused with the idea of, are you mahul or you did the milah or you happen to be mahul? Is that the reason for the change in the book?
But it's not the same, because over there, before the Beit HaLevi came or before the Tur came, let's say, you learn that the mitzvah is to make the milah on the 8th day. The Beit HaLevi learns then you have a mitzvah to be in the state of mahul. Yes? Eli and Rani are Kohanim. Right? The Brit Milah that they had, right, allows them to eat for the next 90 years terumah. Right? The Brit Milah that I had many years ago allows me to eat Korban Pesach. So the actual act of Brit Milah is noeg on the 8th day, but the kiyum, I mean, this is the language you use. There is a maaseh mitzvah, there is a kiyum. The kiyum of the mitzvah is to be in a state of ma'ul. It's more. Every time you come into the house,
You've got the kiyum.
renews himself.
It's active.
Now look at something fascinating now. Look at the Pitkei Tshuva Zayin. Pitkei Tshuva is a commentator, like you know. It's if that Zayin, like of good with the sheet said, you have it Pitkei Tshuva Zayin. Zayin. The Shulchan Aruch says, remember, we are aiming. Remember, the goy painted the house. The goy took off the mezuzah. After 2 or 3 days, the job is over, he's putting it back on. Hey, am I obligated to take off the mezuzah that he put because it doesn't count? And therefore, when I put it, I'll make a bracha because basically the house was without the mezuzah 3 days. Or maybe he placed it, this is it, it's like tefillin.
It's done, you have to do something.
Nevertheless, he definitely did not place it with the bracha. So let's look a second here. וכשיצא לא יקלנה, עיין בברכי יוסף, ברכי יוסף זה רב חידה, שכתב, ואם הוא מקום שאינו מוצא מזוזה לבית שהוא רוצה עתה לגור בו, והיא רחוקה ממנו, שתעבור לידו. Okay? Now he says an unbelievable. He says, you're moving to a neighborhood that you cannot find a mezuzah. But I'm moving out of a house that has a mezuzah. Says the Berkei Yosef, כדאי הם הגאונים, רבינו חי ורב אחא, שאמרו, שאם קבעה מיד בבית אחר, let להם בה לסמוך עליהם בשעת הדחק. He says, you can count on those who say you can take it because in the otherwise you wouldn't have a mezuzah. וכתב עוד, ואף אם מיד שיוצא מבית זה, יבוא רעהו לדור בו, the day I'm moving, the new tenant, the Jewish tenant is coming, ושניהם נכונים, זה להוציא מזוזתו וזה להכניס את שלו, the new tenant says, I have my own mezuzot. And the old tenant says, so let me take mine. He says, אף אגב דלא שייך בעני טעמים, אפילו אחר לא פלוג רבנן. Normally you have to try to negotiate with the tenant to pay you. Chachamobad has a tshuva, as always. The new tenant might be a fellow that to tell him, I paid $120 for mezuzah. You pay me $80. Come on, I could have mezuzah $40.
Oh, he's not observant at all, doesn't care.
Correct, that doesn't care. In a case like this, Chachamobad just said, you can take your mezuzot off, give it to be checked, replace it with cheaper mezuzot. Kosher, yes? Right. Now,
Rabbi Prague, could you go back for a second? You said let's say I decide today to paint my house, and I give it to someone who's not Jewish, and he takes off the mezuzah, he paints, and he places it back. What is the rule? What is the rule?
This is the point.
Yeah.
It's not written beferush, and this is really why we're talking today about it. We said yesterday that tefillin, the mitzvah is that tefillin should be on your body, tied up. So we saw yesterday the Agaot Maimoniyot, the Chalkat Yoav say, even if a woman puts it, it's fine. Here is a saying. Many say that if the Gentile placed it on, it's good as long as your house has a mezuzah. Now, but when he took it off for 2 or 3 days, this is the hefsek. When the mezuzah was placed on, the bracha should have been decided. Right? Is it enough for me right now to take off the mezuzah that the Gentile put on or a child put on, just to make a bracha or not? Again, the mitzvah is there because I have a mezuzah on my door. but the bracha. Rabbi Nissim Karalit said, yes. He says, since the mitzvah was not done properly, even though the bracha is not me'akev, he says, yes.
How are we gonna take it off for?
What?
Then
Okay,
you have
so
to have, you have to create a
when
hefsek.
you look at the Tshuva of Chacham Ovadia, he wants to say, for
Already.
the 2 days or the 3 days that there was a hefsek, and the
Clock
guy
was
put it
running.
on, the mitzvah that he put it on is not completed because he put it on
So it's
without
like
the
it wasn't
bracha.
done, but
Yeah.
it's not,
Yes.
so then it's really not the same with like the tefillin of what we talked about, where you put, if you put it on before too early in the morning, or you already have it on.
Right, but over there we said that perhaps the reason is because Shulchan Aruch says Laila Zeman Tefillin. The question is according to Shema Tov. Comes Rabbi Akiva Eger close to 300 years ago. Listen good to what he says. Rabbi Akiva Eger says that if you went to Miami for a week or two, he says it's pashut by me that when you come back, you have to make a bracha on the mezuzah. None of us ever heard about it. We'll see in a minute why. Now, what's his logic? And his logic never changes here. The mitzvah is when you dwell in the house, you have to have a mezuzah. I'm in Miami for a week.
Does the
He
absence
says,
create like
he says
a
it's, he says
new
it's,
movement?
he says it's, again, he says the mitzvah is the house that you live, sleep, you eat in the house. This is your house, your chayav. For a week, your house was not the house. It's patur mezuzah. When you come back, your mitzvah starts again. And he writes the language he writes. It's interesting. He says, I didn't see people do it, but it's pashut by me. Listen. Then he says, Achar Zman Rav. Later I found out that the Berkei Yosef says, since the beracha is likboa mezuzah, likboa, to place the mezuzah, don't say the bracha. So but he's not taking
So it's
back.
already there.
He's not taking back what he said. He's saying, I still believe that while you are away, your house is patur b'mezuzah, because this is not your house now.
Right.
Nevertheless, the bracha cannot be recited because the bracha is recited only when you place it on. Only when you place it on. So now, listen to this. Then
So why don't you say you go away for a week? What about if I go away for a day? What if I go to work?
for you, I didn't want to say it because then it sounds who. He says every time you go to Manhattan and you come back after 8 hours.
Or
God.
Brooklyn? Or if I go to Brooklyn, God forbid. So what's it called? You know what I'm saying? I get my passport out and I go to Brooklyn and I say, should I really come back to the house? And,
Oh, you have to pay the toll both ways. And
Listen,
soon to be
Ronnie, you don't understand, Ronnie. When my family, this is very quick tell the story. When we came down the West Highway, we never went to the tunnel, Ronnie. We always took the bridge, Ronnie. We don't pay tolls, Ronnie.
When I was in college, I took the bridge all the time.
Listen carefully what he says now. He has a beautiful raya. Listen to this. This is one of this. He says like this. The Magen Avraham brings from the Ari, the Hasidim do it. Some Sfaradim do it. He says every night when you go to sleep, you have to go to sleep with a special talit katan. That's it.
Yeah.
What's his proof? Listen. The Gemara says that when David HaMelech was in the bathhouse, remember, by then,
Right, you've told us. Right.
he saw that he is naked, and he said, until he saw the Brit Milah, fine. Okay, so this, by the way, this Gemara is the proof that you have a mitzvah to be mahul for the rest of your life. What is he excited the Brit? The Brit was done to him 40 years ago by his father. What is he excited today?
Well, maybe this Sfardim should do a Brit every other day or something like that, Rabbi Prague. You know what I'm saying? We straight right out, Rabbi Prague.
Only
You're a little aggressive this morning, Larry. What's going on?
I'm just trying to make a Simchas Yantiv.
Mal is on the line.
Yeah.
Mal's on the
Listen,
line. He's listening in.
listen,
Yeah.
listen.
He wants to
Listen,
trying to get Jay. Jimmy's not
Listen,
here.
says the Ari, every night when David went to sleep, he was also naked from his tefillin. He was naked from his Sefer Torah that he carried. Why did David, going to a bathhouse, felt naked? I mean, if the idea is that you have to be surrounded with a tefillin and mezuzah, and that tefillin and Sefer Torah, wait, says the Ari, this is the proof that no, he went to sleep every night with a talit katan, ככה אומר הארי. Says the Magen Avraham, if the Ari is telling me Al Pi Kabbalah, I'm accepting. Well, Kabbalah, Kabbalah. But if this is his proof, I disagree. Why? Says because when David went to sleep, his bedroom had a mezuzah. So David is not naked for mitzvot.
Because he has the mezuzah.
Says Rabbi Akiva Eiger, here, Larry, when he goes to the bathhouse, he still has a mezuzah in his house. Why was if mezuzah?
He's covered.
Right.
So this is my proof. He
It could be
said,
away overnight.
if you're away, so it comes out like this. If the goy placed it, assuming the mitzvah is there, according to Rabbi Akiva Eiger, if you take it off and you put it back, you can definitely make a bracha. Even according to the Birkei Yosef that says, do it as you place it, I'm placing it. But if you are not taking it off, then you have to take the Birkei Yosef that says, you cannot make a bracha unless you're placing it. Okay, I have to run, Chaval. I'll see you tomorrow.
Have a great day, Rabbi Prag. Shekayach, everybody.
Have a wonderful day, yes.
Take it off.
Right.
Rabbi Prag, we're good tonight, right?
Tonight is the regular, yes.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yes.
Now have a